had heard about the shea tree, how it grows forever, nobody cuts it down, it's this incredible miracle tree.
I never really knew how valuable shea nuts were.
It takes about a week to process the nuts.
Shea is kind of like the gold for the women in the northern sector.
At the crack of dawn, in a remote village in northern Ghana, Adisa forages the forest in search of a precious commodity. But her search is fraught with danger. Beneath the dry leaves and twigs are dangerous venomous spiders, insects, and snakes like the black mamba and the cobra.
Yulinya Adiza Bubakal, Kushenwa Kambi, but Sahi. Isim.
Adisa felt that getting involved in Shea would help her and her husband raise the school fees for their children. Although Adisa was afraid of scorpions and snakes, she always went back to pick Shea nuts. Once, she was even stung by bees and had a swollen eye for weeks. But she was determined with one singular reason.
Dama Gessia, Basto, Tibolati and Notion car, Tinya di, Kanya Titi Binuma, Dizokatibet.
Like 3 million other women in the Shea belt in West Africa, Adisa overlooks these dangers.
I had come to Ghana in 2008 to the south at the request of my father, actually. He was working here, and while we were here, he had heard about the shea tree, how it grows forever, nobody cuts it down, it's this incredible miracle tree, and it grows in the north here in Ghana.
It takes about 25 years for the shea tree to bear fruit. The tree can reach a maximum height of about 15 to 20 meters. It blooms from June to July and cannot be cultivated. It bears dark green fruits which fall to the ground when ripe. Each fruit contains a nut with a solid white kernel. Here in Ghana, it is estimated that about 900,000 women are participating in shea trade at some level. The majority of women who participate in this trade are pickers or collectors who harvest the shea wild in the bush.
One of the issues is that the fruit is delicious to people and also attractive to snakes.
Daniela is the second daughter of an agriculturalist. She's a creative writer by training, but found the calling to come and help these amazing African women irresistible.
The situation here for these women, it wouldn't let me go. So after 3 years of research and going back and forth between communities that I had met when on my initial trip here and continued to correspond with through advisors and through an agronomist here in Tamale, we started to develop a program which should be an intervention that will be effective and sustainable.
Daniela, in collaboration with the local community, formed Just Shea, a social business created to increase the leverage, income and safety of the women in Ghana who participate in the global shea trade.
I'm Fatima Zube. I am the project manager in Ghana for the Just Shea project. And I got into Just Shea, the project, when I first met Daniela.
For Fatima, getting into shea was a coincidence. She graduated from the University of Ghana with a degree in social studies, but unlike her peers who wanted to work in the cities, Fatima always wanted to work in her local community.
So, some people have seen have come in contact with snakes. Being attacked is different from being bitten.
For Daniela and Fatima, setting up and running this fast-growing organization is no mean task. Today, they are in Savelugu, ready to recruit new members into their program.
Well, we surveyed 67 new women to join the program, and out of those 67 women, there were 9 incidences of snake bites among 8 women.
The women who are interested in joining the Just Shea program are asked to bring in a sack of shea in exchange for protective gear, which includes the Walentine boots, gloves, and a raincoat.
They are given their protective gear because that is a mandate. That comes first before everything else, safety before money. So you have your safety gear, you have your bags, and then you go, before you go look for shea.
It took 6 or 7 hours, and we had 7 people working with us doing the surveys with the women. It takes a long time. It's a commitment to making sure that we are making the right interventions and that we can also track our impact.
What's difficult about it is that the women are not educated. Some of them don't know their ages, and we are supposed to estimate their ages. And some of them, they can't tell us what their monthly average income is or yearly income. So we have to calculate all this, and we have to take it at a slow pace, or else they will get confused about it. We need to take a picture with a number so that we can identify them, because most of them are not educated. So even if we give them the number, we always have to go back, because some of them bear the same names, first names and last names. So we give them maybe Awabu Abukari number 1, Awabu Abukari number 2. So then we look at the pictures, then we are able to differentiate who is who.
After the recruitment comes the arduous task of training the women. Fatima and Daniela must find out from amongst the women who would be suitable to learn the key skills of ensuring quality shea is collected and stored for bulk buyers.
We take them and then we train them with the help of the Ghana Shea Network. I need 3 people who volunteer for training. As myself, Assembly, and Daniela. We train those 3 people to be able to weigh, to be able to bag, sew, and take records. I am waiting for...
One of the women who has been nominated for training is an active member of the group.
Adisa Abukari. Adisa Abukari is not from Gushe. She is from the south, and she married the regent chief, and when he was crowned the regent, he moved to the village with him.
Ninya yidama. Ninyo mino kambaka yidambon. Obe omele solo. Omele imani. Ayan tumotum kam. Okaye to ashale depuni. Ben start ma. The last time I na kapi. Na bi pila tui ma pibu. Kwe ma penza tumshale ne kanangoma. Dinyele amfani. Ton yisi ma kanum bele bela. maybe now biene di no amfani titiza ni da ma wuna.
Gundana was not just a civil servant. He was the local chief and yielded considerable clout. In fact, he was very instrumental in the setting up of Just Shea as an organization.
I first met Gundana in 2008. It was a very formal meeting. It was the first time I had come to Uche. For a couple of years it stayed pretty formal, but by the end of last year, after we had finished the construction of the silo, and it was really seeing how much impact this is having on the community.
When we started the survey and everything, he called me and he was like, everything starts small and it grows. And even if ours is growing, there will be problems here and there. But in everything, you have to be patient.
Meet my yellow kucha, when my to chama, one no young pelagla tree ma, into some tree, zaletima. Uncle to hear this.
Unfortunately, Gundana died. One Saturday morning, 3 months ago, Gundana left to buy some diesel for their tractor. At one of the turns, he met an oncoming speeding truck. And that was the end of Gundana. And life has never been the same for Adisa. The shea nut in the granary had to be left unattended because after the death of her husband, Adisa was not allowed to work until the 4 months or so of mourning had passed and she had been cleansed by the elders. Life has remained tough.
Because the anto tumtale be ye to ashale de moswami kajelo o kala le kentami bo mi o yeshem kasuma de konko.
His death, he died on my birthday. I got a call when I was in New York, and I couldn't believe it. And to hear Adisa speaking about him and how encouraging he was for her to join the program, he gave us that same kind of encouragement to move forward with this program.
Even today, I still don't believe that he's gone. I sit down and I look back. I'm like, wherever he is, may his soul rest in perfect peace. That's all I can do. But pray for him wherever he is.
For Danielle and Fatima, the loss of Gundana was a real blow. But the business at hand is really how to ensure that women like Adisa can get personal independence and simply move on with their lives in spite of the losses. Adisa represents the thousands of faceless women who toil in the background to make the shea trade happen, but to whom little attention is ever paid. She packs the collected shea nuts and is now ready to transport the bags to the stores at Just Shea. Just Shea recognized the fact that these women lacked access to storage and markets and therefore sourced for funds to build a silo, an idea that Just Shea came up with so as to protect the women from traders that used to exploit the women by paying low prices for their shea.
After the training, the women, they start bringing in their share for bagging. We pour everything out with them. They have to be present. We look through it, make sure there is no chaff in it, there are no black nuts in it, and we weigh it. 90, so the size. 90 kilo per bag. Because if we are storing it, maybe as the months go by, sometimes the weight comes down. So we usually increase it so that no buyer would come and then say, oh, it's below the standard weight, so I'm paying less for it.
4.
Yeah, 4.
It looks like a 2 and a 1 together.
It was a 2.
Once all of the shea has been collected and entered, we see how much we have, and we help them to identify a buyer. Fatima is in charge of this one. She's the best negotiator I've ever met in my life.
We go to the market women. Oh, okay, today how much are we selling a bag of shea for? They tell you, you keep monitoring as it goes in.
Some of the people who buy this shea from the women include Safia, a single mother of 4 and a teacher. She got into the shea trade through tradition. Her business is part of an organization called Africa 2000 Network, whose goal was to use local resources and process the butter for the local market and some specialized international markets.
I'm a teacher by profession, and I do this as a part-time business.
Safia is a woman I met quite recently, and I am very, very, very amazed by what she's doing. She has other women who are working under her. If you come to the shea industry in the northern sector, she's one of the women you have to know, because she knows, as the Ghanaian will say, the intotos of everything. She knows every aspect of the processing side.
Shea, nut and butter production has a very long way. It takes about a week to process the nut. First, you go to the bush. We are not encouraged to shake off nuts from the tree. You only pick nuts that is ripe and has fallen to the ground. You will have to heap it for 3 days. Then you sit down to depulp. Depulp here is a process where you will remove the skin, the fruit from the nut, and take only the nut. Then you do the parboiling for 45 minutes. It's just to heat it to see the bubbles. Reaches boiling point, then you take off the heat, and then you collect it, drain the water, and then you dry it. And then when it is well dried, you then dehusk. This is where you again use a mallet to beat off the brown shell, to remove the nut from the shell. And after that, you dry it again until it is well dried. And when it is well dry, you put it to roast. After it is roasted, it is cooled and taken to the mill. To mill it into this paste. Then we do the kneading, as I'm doing here. After I have kneaded to get the butter out, then I collect it into a clean pan, I wash it, then I boil it.
As the boiling continues across town, Just Shea continues with their day-to-day business. For Daniela and Fatima, the responsibility of managing the women is not an easy one. First, it's the whole process of getting permission from the elders and keeping them constantly informed about what needs to happen. The people of Gushie are still deeply traditional, and in order for any important event to take place, the circle of elders must give their express permission.
Magajia is, she's the oldest woman in the community. Nothing is done without her being consulted. Even if the chief needs something done by the women, Magajia is their representative. So everything I do is in consultation with Magajia.
Malha let paga bushi anam na bo gbadama nam kabza ku dire kina de tam kan do ma pon non kurgu ba lampa biya man do kan kurma na anti de tam kan pilgu bi do alago hali te mpa na shiyan terapi laki mama katum de putuma te tuna na ranya shamba dan katara no bisa hai pa ka tapi putuma sahi pa ka tutum ka dohra
tda butun de zo ka tra zan mun bar eka
tin ya dabsula ka lam tabjine ngba sawara ka kana te yel mun bon te bo la kaza nyam tite.
Every week, the women assemble to assess their account and be informed of new trends and updates. Some of these meetings are never easy.
They felt that if someone is bringing in one bag, they are taking the percent on just one bag. She's bringing in 10 bags, and you are taking a percentage on each and every bag. So she feels cheated.
Which is a reasonable concern.
Yes, 15% is taken as a contribution into the fund for your targets for the year. Everyone agreed that with new members, you pay for just one bag. And with those who are in their second year, it's 2 bags.
Safia continues to process her shea nut. It is now time to transform the nut into shea butter.
Boil it for another hour and a half to take off the moisture in the oil. Any oil in the water must be dried up. And after that, we will filter it and allow it to cool the next morning. And after cooling, we leave it in a cool room, and occasionally we go to stir it to solidify it. And then it is ready for packaging. When you package it into the size you want, the quantity you want, you can package it into 25 box or 20 box or 1 kilo or 2 kilograms. And then it is ready for the market. We don't have a store in the market to keep it, but we have space here where we can keep our butter. So if buyers know our location, they can come to us and buy directly from us. That is more beneficial, that's more profitable, because we can negotiate the price with them and then they can give us a better price. But where there are no buyers, we have to take it to the local market, and the middlewoman will buy it at the price she wants, because she also needs to make a profit from it.
I never really knew how valuable shea nuts were, or shea butter was. When I started working with Daniela, I became obsessed with reading ingredients. And you see so many products which have shea in it, especially women's cosmetics. You see hair products, you have shea. You see body shea, everything shea. Shea is kind of like the gold for the women in the northern sector.
Groups like Safia's, Africa 2000, these women who are making a very high quality handcrafted butter, that will go to supplying the demand for what is the smallest percent and yet the most quickly growing part of the market is in cosmetics. 90% of the market is in food.
Most homes use this in frying, making of soap for toilet soaps, and even laundry soap. It has a lot of uses. The white one is virgin shea plain soap.
Shea is this year a $3.5 billion global market. Shea is used as an oil fat, a stabilizer in confections manufacturing, in margarine, and in ice cream sandwiches. Today is the award-giving ceremony, and all the women have been brought together to recognize those amongst them that have performed an outstanding job in the course of the just-ended harvest season.
We had a kind of competition. We want to award the 3 women who had the most share throughout the year. So we are counting the number of bags every woman had, and we are presenting them with prizes. Very, very interesting.
Competitions are a way that you can gain status in your community. And they've really latched on to this idea.
Adisa Ali Dubai, 3rd place.
Okay.
Mulanya second Mata Avocado. Mata Avocado.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Women did first. Nella Adisa Avocado. Adisa Avocado.
Oh, let's do it together.
The win is a soothing reminder for Adisa who, though still in mourning, can afford to smile and celebrate a little victory during a truly painful period in her life.
Because when hope, when it ma be shakam, canam be tree man dination.
Did I find man on Tenyas? Catana born a cantone. The born a BSLT and ye Catania Dura, you be Dura Tampa do.
I will wish that women in this organization are able to market, negotiate for their prices, and then, if possible, go to the international markets and meet the buyers out there and then do business with the big companies.
Just Shea as an organization is barely 4 years old, but its impact and its vision are far-reaching. Operating from just a humble home office setting, Just Shea has the intention of transforming a trade that has been widely seen as an industry for lowly marginalized women into a thriving international business.
It doesn't take a lot of money to make big impact. It really doesn't. You know, we don't have fancy vehicles, we don't have a fancy office, but we're making impact. And if you feel like you need an air-conditioned office and fancy cars in order to be able to begin doing projects, you will never get to the actual project.
As a Ghanaian, I am proud that I am in this organization and I am helping women especially to empower themselves. And I am very, 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 very happy with my job.